Hi guys. It's been a few weeks since we had class. It's okay. It's all part of the deal. I was traveling for seminars. Pay attention inside. Focus on yourself. Let's do what we're used to, which is simply feel ourselves. Hi guys. Focus is inside you. You're contemplating simply being there. Be at peace, happy if you can, but don't force it. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Om Bhurbuha Swaha Tatsad Vitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayate. Om Triyambakam Yajamai Sugandhim Pushtivardham Urvarukam Eva Bandhanam Mrityam Muksham Amrita. Just a bit of prayer to get us even more in the mood. So we're going to have a simple practice today of embodiment, just being in the body. The Sanskrit mantra is manasvin, where we are just focusing on being in the body. Manasvin. For those of you who've learned transmigration, you might understand the next explanation better. But for everyone, here's a little thing about the attitude we have when we incarnate. So when we practice incarnation, usually what we imagine is that we are above our body and we go in and we push down. And those who do transmigration, you do that because that's how we believe incarnation works. You push into the container, the body. You see, this is how we first practice manasvin. This is how we discover it. And it gives us a sensation of weight and pressure in the body. But eventually what it does, it will augment your pressure in the body, and it could translate as higher blood pressure, higher stress on the body, but of course more feeling of incarnation. So what we want to do when we practice manasvin, instead of pushing down, instead I have an attitude of thinking, I am in the body. I already am. I don't have to push from somewhere else to get into the body. What I do instead is contemplate that I am already there. The first few times, you might feel less pressure because you're not pushing down into your body with the manasvin practice. But the result is you'll put less pressure on yourself, but you will be in the body. Manasvin. It is to realize we are already there. I am incarnate. I'm mindful of my environment and inside. Okay. So when we practice incarnation, don't push down with your mind like, ah, and then, I feel so much pressure inside. Yeah, because you're pushing. And this is a good way to start to get the first feelings. But it's on the long run, it's not healthy. It's better to be patient. We will feel less pressure, so we'll have the impression of being less incarnate, but actually we're still incarnate. We have less pressure. Manasvin is a decision. I am in the body. It's an affirmation. I am in the body. I realize I am already there. And I amplify this by focusing on it. Manasvin. Manasvin nivedin Garima shanti. Manasvin. the practice of being in the body. For those who practice transmigration, we often have the reflex of, I am here, I get into the subject. I get in my water bottle, in the partner, practicing in the object. And it feels more efficient because we apply pressure. And that's actually how I teach it in class, so that people will feel the presence of the other. But if you want to be efficient in your transmigration, you have to learn that it is not migration from here to there. It is transmigration. It is already there. My consciousness is in the subject or the object, the water bottle, the person, or whatever you're transmigrating in. So in the case of incarnation, my consciousness is in my body, in my mass, in my flesh. So we don't migrate, we transmigrate. We're already there. Takes a bit of practice to get it. Manasvin. All right, we've done a bit of that. We move on to the next stage of this process of incarnation, nivedin, Nividin, nivedin. Maybe I can explain manasvin. Manas is the intellect or the functional mind in Sanskrit, and vin is in nature or with nature. So manasvin is to be mindful. The word mindfulness was created by Thich Nhat Hanh just 40, 60 years ago. Okay, so when Sakyamuni Buddha was saying manasvin, he didn't speak about mindfulness. He spoke about to be fully conscious of nature, of the manifest. Okay, which is the original meaning of manasvin. It was later translated as mindful, but it's to be conscious of nature and your body, like your own nature. Nivedin is that nature awakens. So now that with manasvin we are conscious of the mass of our body, nivedin awakens consciousness in the body. Nivedin. So that whatever is dormant in your genes, in your subconscious, in your nervous system, whatever is latent there, and maybe these could be potentials of denials at the physical level, it all awakens. Maybe some stuff could be released. It's usually not dramatic because it takes time. Some stuff, I mean some trauma, some pressure inside that for a moment needs to come out. But usually what it does, well, the goal of nivedin is to awaken nature. So nature has an intelligence of its own, and your body knows what it has to do. So whatever negativity is in your body, it is brought to light so that it cannot continue its negative effect on you. So the awakening of the body is a better functioning body, and maybe a few potentials to resolve. Sometimes a bit of observation does that. You just look at it. And it releases density from the body because the mass of the body embraces the consciousness that you have put there before with manasvin. Now, nivedin on its own, without the previous manasvin, nivedin on its own would simply awaken nature. Call in consciousness, but also empathy and intelligence, usually cognitive kind of things. You could awaken a rock. Of course, it would not gain intelligence per se, like a human can calculate 2 + 2 = 4. A rock does not have a nervous system, does not have a soul for itself, unless you put one there, which is, why would you do that? Let's come back to subject. So anything that you focus nivedin, it awakens, it embraces some form of consciousness. The way that nature latently has that intelligence. An example is a plant does not have a complex nervous system and an ability to philosophize, to do mathematics. 2 + 2 = 4. A plant doesn't do that. But there is a natural intelligence in the plants that allows it to recognize this is the sun. I will follow it with my leaves like a solar panel. Okay? The first solar panels exist in nature. They're called leaves. Okay? That's quite a funny allegory, actually. So the plant has an intelligence of feeling the earth, of embracing and reaching more. So if, for example, you awaken nivedin in a plant, it will gain that natural intelligence it already has. It will gain more. It will also gain empathy. The feeling of communication it has with other plants will amplify. Its sensitivity will augment, but also its efficiency. If you do this in your body, the natural intelligence in your body, sorry about that. I'm alone now at home, so I barely speak to anyone in the week. And that causes a bit of accumulation of mucus and not getting used to talk. Thank God I got my online class. So the same way a plant knows what to do, your kidneys know what to do, your heart, your lungs, your brain, everything in your body knows what to do in its function. Nivedin awakens that. Augments the efficiency without disturbing the balance. Actually, it will even bring empathy, a form of compassion from every part of your body to every other part. The system starts to work like a whole because it awakens nature as a whole. And if a density wants to liberate from your body through the awakening, just breathe it and then relax. I recommend you don't breathe intensely many times in a row, because that's pressure. That's just that's like a power trip. It's trying to accelerate a process. Breathe, relax, and when a wave of density releases itself, you naturally take a deep breath. It will naturally release itself without the pushing. Notice that sometimes you integrate and you blow hard. That's you still in denial, trying to push away the density when it's still not dissolved. So give it time to dissolve. Breathe naturally and gently, where you just release the breath by dropping it at the speed it wants to instead of pushing. Okay, just a little trick to avoid denial during integration at the emotional or physical level. So we keep practicing nivedin, the awakening of the mass of the body, the awakening of the genetic code, the epigenetics, the awakening of the mind of the body, the hachita, the mind of the body, epigenetics. Let's explain epigenetics a bit. A group of scientists, I forgot the reference because I always do, but you can search it online. Actually, many groups did that. They put fleas in a pot. A flea can jump up to 100 times its height. So a flea is very small, but it jumps 100 times its physical height. So put it in a small pot with a lid on, and the flea, to get out, jumps and hits itself on the top of the pot. And after a few attempts, it learns to jump. It keeps jumping, but just until it gets to the edge of the pot. Don't jump higher because it hurts. So it jumps but it cannot reach higher because its instinct is get out of here, jump. And then the learned epigenetics, the learned process, we think it's mental, but you'll see how it's epigenetics. The learned process is, but I suffer if I jump too high. So I need to jump out, but it hurts if I jump too high. So it starts to jump just to the point of the lid. The thing is, when these fleas are put in another environment without the lid, like a very high container, these fleas keep jumping only at the height where the lid was. It forgot how to jump higher. It's stuck with that. But when these fleas reproduce and the baby fleas put into another environment, so it's not educated from the parents, the baby fleas also, once adult, only jump to the height of the tap. Which means that a trauma in the parent is passed on not through genetics, but through epigenetics, even without the communication of the parent to the child. The body remembers the pain of its genetic ancestral line, which is kind of crazy and pretty interesting. So when we say that there's a family karma, we call that epigenetics, where in your family, people are afraid. So if you come from parents, let's say my brother was adopted, and we know that the origin of the parents leaves mark in the system of a child. So even if a child is adopted at birth, it has traits and problems in its essence from the parents. So of course, my brother, for example, who was adopted, was extremely troubled from a young age, had impulses of violence, and never could trust anyone because that's how the parents were. The mother was 16-year-old, drug addict for a while, not during pregnancy, but before. And it gave a history already to my brother, okay? So now in epigenetics, we learned that we can get a form of dense dharma or a dense program in our flesh that comes from our ancestral line. It can go far, many generations. But we also get them from our own traumas. Our own traumas leave traces in the mind of the body, in the dehachitta, okay? So nivedin awakens your mass, and then your body will start to do its own form of personal growth, if you want. So awaken, removing the denial of the body. Nivedin does that. So if a flea that has learned don't jump higher than that height, we don't know why, because a few generations before the parents had a lid that could hurt them. For the fleas, it takes a few generations for fleas sometimes to try just a bit harder, like the daredevil ones, the extreme sports fleas in the crowd that decided, I'm going to go further, and they jump just a little higher. And then the fleas eventually learn that they can jump at the full height that the body of a flea is capable of. So there's a lot of things our bodies are capable of, but we have epigenetically learned that it's not possible. And actually, another way to phrase it is we have epigenetically forgot our capacities. The goal of nivedin is not to push the body to its limits. No, because that's burning the candle by both ends. Okay, that's pushing too much. But nivedin liberates you from the conscious taints, the densities that limit you from full emancipation. All right, so that's what nivedin does. It awakens the mass. And if you do it in a plant, that plant becomes more efficient and liberated from what it learned. If you do it on an animal, it becomes more conscious and also more smart. That means you do it on a cat, it becomes a bit more troublesome while it learns new limits. do it on a dog, just becomes super loyal, but also a good hunter and maybe a bit more protective. We don't know. We don't know what's going to awaken, but the qualities that are inherent to a creature will awaken. Now, for a human, it's to find balance and harmony with his environment. Nivedin will do that. And before you do it to a creature or an animal, you have to do it on yourself to not unbalance yourself, okay, by doing projection instead of transmigration. Okay, so just do it for yourself, and then you have the ability to awaken anything around you, which is pretty cool. Let's do both that we've done so far. Manasvin, nivedin. Manasvin is to realize I'm already conscious of the body. My soul as consciousness is filling my body, not pushing down, but just from within the body, already there, appearing or enriching itself, already there. Manasvin. Nivedin, from the consciousness of my soul, my body awakens its full potential, which is harmonious, functional, peaceful. It's not about becoming more strong, although that's a possible side effect. For me, what nivedin does most is the ability to digest better. Okay, like I process stuff better. And that's good enough for me. Also makes my bones want to go straight again, which is cool. Manasvin, nivedin. More consciousness of the soul in my mass, and the mass of my body awakens to consciousness. So manasvin is from the soul to the body, and nivedin is the body embracing the soul. So both are joining, fusioning, making love, making friends if you want also. I mean, every metaphor works. Not making enemies, no. The soul and the body are one with manasvin, nivedin. Manasvin, nivedin. Manasvin, nivedin. To make it short, I don't want to give too much information about Garima in this class. Garima shanti. Shanti is peace. Garima is the heaviest aspect, which is mass. The Siddhi Garima puts you in contact with mass, physical mass, at the densest level, even denser than you could realize is possible. It doesn't make you heavier unless you learn to apply Garima on the physical plane. It just makes you aware of the densest parts of mass, okay? And Shanti is about peace and harmony. There's much more to it, of course, but Shanti is about harmony. Garima Shanti puts us at peace with our body and puts us at peace with the physical realm. Garima Shanti. Garima, Garima, well done, and Shanti, peace. Garima, the mass of the body. Shanti, peace. To accept it, to make peace, to embrace incarnation. You see, psychologically, there are events in our life that made us think negatively, why am I here? Why the hell am I here? Why the heck? Why the F word? Like if I never said that before in video. Why the effing am I here? And it was unchecked. That kind of negativity was unchecked. So it led to further, I would rather not be here. Would it be better if I was not here, was not incarnate? So all these kind of thinking produced traces in the body about the body thinking, why should I do all this work if there's no point in existing here? You know, so the body instinctively wants to live and be functional here, but then through our life difficulties, we've built a negative vision of the world, like, what's the point? There is a point. I'm not going to give a class on what's the point of being here. There is a point, and it's quite entertaining and and peaceful and pleasant once you've cleared yourself of the worst inside you. It's quite a joyride. Even with the stress, it's worth living. It's pleasant. There's some fun to have in this world, and some love to discover with yourself and with others. There's tons of beautiful reasons to live. But for every time inside we thought, what's the point? And negativity went into this world to say, I'm not in harmony in this world. And it trained you this way. So with Garima Shanti, we are at peace. We accept this world. We're in harmony in this manifest world. Garima Shanti. Garima Shanti. Now we're going to do all four of them. I know that Garima Shanti was just a short blurb, but that's what I had for this class. Manasvin, nivedin Garima Shanti. Manasvin brings your soul's consciousness. Your soul is you, conscious. Your soul's consciousness in the body. Nivedin awakens the body to consciousness of your soul. It awakens the body. Garima Shanti is embracing the mass and enjoying the world, or at least being peaceful and harmonious in this world. Manasvin nivedin Garima Shanti. Once again, I do a review of these mantras once per year, about more or less. And each time I give a bit more detail about Manasvin nivedin Garima Shanti. There's a fifth mantra that goes with that, which is not a topic of our class. It's Rasavada. 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 Rasavada means alchemy. I don't know in English if we say alchemy or alchemy. Manasvin nivedin Garima Shanti. If you know about Rasavada, just say it. If you don't know, say it anyway. Rasavada will just produce more efficient transmutation in your body, like when the liver tries to transform stuff for the best of your body. When your lungs extract gas, when there's exchange of particles in your cells, like everything that is transformation and transmutation, it will be better. Eventually become supernatural in nature. Okay. And these first 5 mantras, Manasvin nivedin Garima Shanti, these 4 we just practice alone. And then we add Rasavada. This is called Vajrabhudam, if you ever want to look through it. The last 2 minutes of this class were just filled with various Sanskrit names that you don't really need to remember. It's just for those who already know and for those who want to seek more information. The goal of this class was to embrace this world, embrace your body, and help it be more functional. Manasvin nivedin Garima Shanti. Well written, Raven, everything. Manasvin nivedin Garima Shanti. Just that. Manasvin nivedin Garima Shanti. I was doing this in my car yesterday. I felt a bit lost in my head. It's like, I need to be on the road. Manasvin nivedin Garima Shanti. Just, I'm driving. I'm physical. I'm aware of the environment. And it kind of calmed down the the need of the mind to fantasize on what am I going to do, what are the possibilities, how to manage that. It's like, I'm driving right now, I just want to be aware of the road. So I figured, I got my topic for tomorrow's class. It's the yearly review, more or less. I don't have life problems right now. I have life situations like anyone, but they're not problems. It's going fine. So I'm pretty happy with that. It was problems up to last year. Now it's just cool. I got this. And managing. Sometimes it's just about the attitude and to take the time to take one topic at a time and resolve it, do your best, and accept what you can't change and change what you can and do the work, and life is better. Accepting myself where I am now is the best I could do for me. And I suddenly became more productive. I started writing again, working on another project. It's really cool. So, manasvin, nivedin, Garima, shanti. That's how I practiced it. And personal growth and all this stuff. Manasvin, nivedin, Garima, shanti. Peace. Joy to you all. See you next Friday.